Hello everybody, we're just waiting for people to come into the session. My name is Sal. I work at Austin Health alongside the crew from AQA Spire. We're part of the peer support team. We'll be starting the webinar shortly, just letting a few people join right now.
For people that are listening, again, just want to let them know why we're doing this. We used to have a What's Out There Day at the Royal Talbot, and once every 3 or 4 months, and we had to stop doing that because of social distancing. So we thought the next best thing, or even better, we'll do it over Zoom. And this is like going to be like a panel session that we usually do in the mornings. Going to have a bunch of questions with experts. As you can see, everyone that's here is an expert.
This is our first webinar in the series. Naz, I'll get you to introduce it again.
Yep.
Just a quick reminder, you've got Q&A to ask the questions, you've got chat to let us know if there's something going on as well, but stick to the Q&A for the questions to the panel. I'm going to shut up now and hand it over to the panel. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Al. So again, mentioned What's Out There Day. A lot of people would know at the Royal Talbot we have a What's Out There Day once every 3 or 4 months, and because of social distancing we can't do that, and we thought the next best thing, or even better, is to go online using Zoom. All these professionals or experts to give their views on topics and give advice and answer questions to people with spinal cord injuries that they are unsure about. So we've got Dave Jacker, got Maya, got Ben there, Raywin. Now Raywin's a nurse who's employed by the Austin. So again, we're experts, but so she's a level above us, I think.
Oh, don't say that.
Okay.
Different experience.
Yeah, different point of view. Anyway, we got Lachlan, got Peter VB, which many of you also know, Sal, who just introduced the whole session to us, Lynn Paniotis, who's also from the Austin, and Josh Hose also. So everyone has got a spinal cord injury. I've got a C6 complete spinal cord injury. Might just go around quickly, and starting with Dave, just to mention what level of function you've got for people that are interested.
Hi everyone. My level of function is C5-6. So break C5, we've got function down to C6. Wasn't there?
Maya, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm a C3 level, and so basically my right arm is more affected than my left, and my core is bad. That's about it.
Oh, thanks. Ben?
I'm T5 and I've been in the chair since 2012.
Lockie?
Yep, I'm a C7 injury, but I'm actually, my functioning level is T2. I've been in a wheelchair for since 2011.
Oh, excellent. I was actually going to ask if we can add that when we had our injuries. Peter?
Hi, I'm a C4-5 quadriplegic, complete injury, and I had my injury in 1999 from the result of a motorbike accident.
Thanks, Peter. And Lynn?
Hi, I'm a T12 paraplegic. I've been in a chair since 2006 as a result of a bus accident whilst overseas.
Thanks, Lynn. And finally, Josh.
Hey, Naz. So I was in a car accident back in 2005, Australia Day, and I sustained a C6, C7 incomplete injury.
Good. Thanks for that. So, as you all know, we're here to go over the topic of health and well-being, especially in this environment, COVID-19. A lot of people have had to change what they do, and as we know, there's been a bit of craziness at the shopping centres with getting supplies like, the basic stuff that we need, like gloves, and we don't use masks, but a lot of people would be cautious and getting supplies of masks and toilet paper as well. Just wondering what issue you guys had with getting stocks. You know, I mean, we need toilet paper, we need gloves, hand sanitizer is another one. So what have we done in making sure we've got enough supplies? And if we're out, or if we run out now, what do we do? A lot of people are probably in the situation now where they're running low or they had run low. Dave, just want to start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Des. I was actually fortunate. I got my supplies, bulk supplies, every 3 months. I got those delivered just before the COVID-19 outbreak. So I was sort of fortunate in that respect. So at this point, I'm not low on supplies, but look, I go through Independence Australia. I haven't heard whether they're out of supplies or anything at this point. So, so I'm probably, I'm just going along. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if anyone else has tried to order anything recently, I guess.
Probably won't go around like one by one. But does anyone want to jump in to say if they've run low and what solutions they found? Yeah, Lynn?
I'd not so much run low like Dave. I do 6 monthly orders and I was a couple of months into it. I have since ordered catheters and that wasn't a problem. There's plenty of those, but Independence Australia is out of sanitizer, out of gloves and wasn't taking any orders.
I have the same experience.
Sorry, Ben?
I have the same experience with gloves and sanitizer, masks, aprons they don't have.
Have you tried anywhere else? I know Bright Sky has plenty of gloves.
We're okay for gloves. We weren't okay for sanitizer. We made our own. So using Metho and...
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I went to try and get some methylated spirits and there's none available, Ben, after you told me.
Yeah.
It might be a positive thing, Naz, that we're actually getting past the curve, but I actually had a delivery from Independence Australia and I had 3 bottles delivered from Australia Post. So we might be heading back in the right way.
Yeah, I know there was it's probably getting better now, but for 2 or 3 weeks, Independence Australia, they weren't even answering their phones. They were doing a stock take and all that sort of stuff. So I think a lot of people got anxious and I don't know what they got up to. I mean, how they filled their supplies because their usual supplier wasn't available. And I found since there's a lot of other suppliers that we didn't know about that have stock available. But that's got a lot better now. So I'm not sure if anyone still has issues with toilet paper and hand sanitizer and whatever else we may need.
When we first got told that we had to go into like social distancing rules, I was pretty like nervous about ordering supplies, but I'm pretty fortunate that my mum is a nurse at the Royal Children's Hospital. So she's just been going down to the equipment distribution centre and buying some catheters and gloves and everything, and they've actually got pretty good still supply there. There's like suppositories or any like a lot of stuff that we would all need. Option that we didn't know about.
My stocks are a little bit low, and I did an order about a month and a half ago, so I didn't get my complete order, but I got enough to get by, and then they filled my order as time went on, and I'm sort of got plenty of stuff now. I'd really like to know, because hand sanitizer is quite low and a bit harder to get, and I use it quite a bit at home because I've got a fair amount of carers in my home. Raymond, what is it a risk to make your own hand sanitizer, or do you suggest it, or anything better or worse? Love your feedback on that.
Yeah, so the main thing is it needs to have alcohol in it. I'm not sure of the exact percentage, but it's quite a large percentage of alcohol to be effective against COVID-19. And of course it's then going to be quite harsh on the hands. So you can add things like aloe vera sort of derivatives to soften it up. Okay, someone said they heard it needs to be 70%. That sounds about right.
Is it at risk making your own hand sanitizer, Rowan, or you think it's okay?
I think it's okay. Yeah, it's not a problem.
I've heard that washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water is effective or better.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good alternative. It's not necessary. There's no advantage in using hand sanitizer. Washing your hands is just as effective. I guess it's just the convenience, of the hand sanitizer that people opt for that.
I heard that washing your hands with soap and water is better than, like, if you have the option, use soap and water, because it can rub skin, does something with like getting rid of like the layer of like germs or something, where like hand sanitizer just kills it, but soap and water actually removes it from. That's what I got told.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So when you rinse your hands, you're washing it away. Yeah. But yeah, I think they're pretty equally effective. And what's important to keep in mind, I suppose, is the technique of hand washing. You've really got to make sure that you wash every surface of the hand. So there are some really good videos out around the place that show you how to do that to make sure you do a good job and get in between the fingers and all the nooks and crannies.
Sometimes my carers will wash their hands and then straight after sanitize. Is that pointless, or is
pointless?
That's
pointless. If they're washing their hands properly, there's no point in sanitizing.
Thank you very much for that.
Raymond, can I just ask, is there any specific soap that is better to use, or is it all generalised soaps are sort of good?
No, it's anything that lathers up is good. It's going to wash it away. Yeah. And you're better off using a soap alternative, because it won't dry your hands out as much. Because of course, if you dry your hands, then they can get cracked, and that's when bugs can get in, right? So yeah.
No, that's good. I heard the same as well. I mean, hand sanitizer is something you would use if you've got no other option, or you're in the road. I mean, a lot of people do catheters when they're away, so always use or find soap and water. So yeah, you use hand sanitizer as a next option.
I'm just seeing one of the questions that's popped up, and it's from an anonymous person, but it says Mabel, which is a platform for people who use NDIS, are sending out links to their clients to purchase hand sanitizer, gloves, and masks. So for people who are using NDIS, if you want to get a complete list, Mabel will have that.
Great.
MABLE.
Is that within the NDIS website?
No, Mabel is a standalone service. They're an actual medium, that paying platform. So so they look like they've got together some information. So that's more for the NDIS people.
Good. Thanks, everyone, for that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was isolating ourselves. A lot of us have still got to go to work, either go to the office or do shopping and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people have family or friends or carers come into their homes to help with their daily needs and all that sort of stuff. Now, because of hygiene, we had to change what we do in the way we do things. I know Peter made a video, I'm not sure if everyone's seen that, but he had some great suggestions on how to make sure that the house was still hygienic, I guess, in a way. Just making sure that hotspots were not there. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you've changed or other precautions you've put in place, Peter?
Yeah, well, I use carers a lot in my life, to get up every morning and to go to bed at night, and I need them in my life. So at the start, I was a bit concerned about COVID-19 and having a lot of people coming in the house. It was, you know, thinking about where those people have been. So for me, it was the start of it was just having a good, honest conversation with my carer network and just saying, look, if you've been in contact with anybody overseas that may have any risk to COVID-19 at all, let's just be really open and talk about that. And same with myself. And all those people that I spoke to, my carers, were really open and said, look, we're isolating, we're staying away from our friends who've been overseas, we're not getting out much, we don't want to risk ourselves, let alone you. And that really made me feel a lot better. So I could continue my care regime as per normal, but still putting in some measures. And some of those things were just like when carers first walk in, if they've got a jacket on or clothes, just to hang it up out near the back door and wash their hands straight away when they come inside. Possibly change their shoes if they bring a spare set of shoes. And my kitchen bench I see is a food prep area. Nobody put anything on there. That's just to prep food, and that gets cleaned a couple of times a day just to break the cycle if there was any germs getting about. But just thinking about it a bit more, feeling comfortable and just being logical was what helped me. A big thing too that helped me was try to stay away from social media and a lot of negative and a lot of chat and a lot of not so bad information, but just a layer of information that was going around out there, and just more or less sticking to facts and logical information, because it was building up inside me, actually, to tell you the truth, all the multiple layers of information that was going around, yeah. Over to you, Ben. How have you sort of handled carers in your life and doing things?
Well, we also had the open discussion and frank discussion with carers right at the beginning of this, and we said, look, if we're sick, we're going to tell you, and you're going to have a choice whether to come or not. And if you're sick, we expect you, or at risk, we expect you to tell us, and we'll probably ask you to stay away. And I must say, my carers have been overly careful. Every little sneeze, I get a telephone call. And sometimes I've had to say, yeah, it's okay, just come, because the likelihood of it being coronavirus was just minuscule. But two of my carers are nurses, so they're well up with hygiene, and my other carers are all very experienced and also keep up their personal hygiene when they're here, and I'm fairly confident when they're not here.
Good, thanks, Ben. And Peter, just also, a lot of people, I mean, part of our daily routine was going to the pool, going to the physio and gym and all that sort of stuff. Now we're not allowed to do it anymore because those places are closed. I know some people have been organising physio, for example, from home. So the physio will come to their home, or they'll be able to do it through, say, YouTube or something like that. Has anyone looked into that area where not a carer, but a professional has been coming to their home, or they've continued doing their physio online in a way through watching?
Yeah, I've been doing my rehab sessions via telehealth for the past few weeks, and it's interesting. It's definitely not the same, but it's better than nothing. But it is the one thing I've learned is asking more people for help, because it's only like they're only telling you what to do via a screen, and so they can't really do the hands-on work. So I'm having to ask my siblings to help me. But yeah, it's different. But
And I've also, Naz, I've organised with my GP an online telehealth call. So that's also an option for the guys that may be leaving the rehab, that you don't have to go into your doctor always, and you can make contact. And I might lead to Ben up to this also, because like Mayo, he's had online calls with his physio. And like Mayo said, it may not be the same, but I think it's also good to have a bit of an agenda for the day and help break up the monotony of isolation.
It's
So
also,
Ben, sorry, Mayo.
oh, it's also good for to keep like your body in that routine of what you were doing. So like if you're someone like me who gets really bad muscle tightness and spasms, it's good for the body to at least be doing something that's releasing that.
So I do telehealth with my physiotherapist twice a week. So instead of going in at the same time each week, she just rings in here, and we do it via the computer screen with my carer acting as her hands. And that's been educational for my carers as well, and something which will no doubt stand them in good stead and stand me in good stead after this is all over, that they are now competent to do those sorts of exercises that the physiotherapist has been doing in the past.
I've done a similar thing in that I'd seen a physio face-to-face and had taken my carer with me, and so she was instructed on how to do the exercise program. We've since had a couple of video conferencing with the physio, but my carer takes me through an exercise program each day.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in. Basically, I'm lucky. I have a good relationship with my physio, and the second my gym got, I guess, closed down temporarily, I contacted my physio straight away, and we had a chat about what options we can do to keep sort of training up. So luckily, I went online. I contacted my NDIS plan coordinator, sort of manager, and I asked her if I could do it like a small home gym setup. All I need is luckily dumbbells and a bench. And she said you can take that from consumables. So it's worth contacting your NDIS manager and seeing what's available indoor workout options you can use. And we set that up, and then I'm waiting for the gym program, but I got ThyroBands to work on, and I do video calls with my physio, and it's been great.
I know that with the NDIS, anything, the assistive technology section, that can be used for any equipment that you might need for home gym or muscle exercises that you might be using at a physio, or would be prescribed by an OT.
Yeah.
That falls on the level 1 and 2. So, you know, AT goes from level 1 to 4, but if it's in level 1 and 2, you can put it through your plan without having a OT sign off on it.
So like, I just want to ask you again, what sort of equipment did you say you purchased and you're waiting on at the moment? What sort of gym equipment?
Yep. So I'll have to get it up, but basically I ordered a ThyroBand kit. It's through a company called, I think it's PTP Fit.
Okay.
And basically that has lots of different ThyroBands, like some that can wedge in between a door and you can pull it. You might have seen advertising on social media. Basically, ones that you can actually hook around on your wheelchair and you can do like shoulder presses and things like that. It's got heaps of different connection systems, so it's really good. They're really strong, and there's different resistance levels. And then in terms of gym, basically, I'm lucky. It's similar to what I would be doing anyway. So I just ordered like a standard bench that goes like would you would for a bench press that goes up and down, and then also a pair of dumbbells. These are really amazing dumbbells because with us, when we get into a bench, you know, it's hard to lift a heavy weight. So with these weights, you can turn it and clip, and then weights will fall off up and down to what levels you want, sort of thing. So you don't have to screw them in and everything. So yeah, and you can get them on a rested bench. So that way you don't have to reach down to grab them and damage your shoulders. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Lucky to send us that information so we can share with other people as well, because it's really good to see what equipment people are using that's going to be accessible and easier for us to continue what we're doing.
Oh, just quick. I'll link it in the chats anyway.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, great. Also, I wanted to mention NDIS too. They're allowing people to purchase things like iPads, computers, and all that sort of stuff to stay connected. They can use their core plan to purchase any equipment like that. So that's just general information. But if you wanted to know more about that, just let us know and we can find out the full details for you. So that's another good option that NDIS has just announced recently, only a couple of days ago, I think.
Yeah, you've got to be a bit careful of that, but because your core plan is supposed to pay for your carers, all those equipment and stuff like that. So if you're taking a fair amount of money away from your core, you have to balance that and be careful. So there's still things you need to consider.
That's a great point, Peter, because, yeah, I mean, what you purchase, that's not in your plan. I mean, that's going to be an extra cost. So you're going to be taking away from another area. So it might be worthwhile. I know NDIS are going to be pretty flexible too. So it might be worthwhile to see if you're after that information technology stuff and get an increase on your plan as well. I think that might be an option too. People can follow.
Can I jump in there with that, Nuz?
Yeah, sure.
Just real quick, yeah, that's why I quickly suggest if you're able to email or contact your plan manager and ask them. Mine, like I straight away, because I know my budget very well, and she said, take it out of your consumables. That's the best option. And then they can, I don't know, they potentially look at funding it more. And if you have any problems, they can help again, sort of thing. So it's worth contacting them and asking them for sure.
Yeah, you're right. But probably be a good idea to contact them first before you purchase it because, you know, if you're taking money out of catheters, for example, and you can't purchase catheters, then you're going to be in a bit of trouble. But I'm sure NDIS will be pretty flexible and have allowances for that, but it's better to find out before that.
So that, yeah, the whole idea around that IT stuff is that they know that people are being more isolated, and so you do need to put reasoning behind it, but which isn't hard at the moment, and it's more flexible. So contact your planner or your LAC and go through the right channels.
Yeah, exactly. So, so I just wanted to go on to another subject. So, as I know, a lot of people have actually cancelled their care. You know, if they had 2, 3, 4 carers coming into their home, they stopped that and they're getting care from family members now. Just want to see what people were doing in that regard, because I think at this time as well, it's important to sort of think out of the box. So, you know, instead of having a carer coming into your home and doing other things that they were doing, and so, you know, you just want to take precautions of them coming into your home. Has anyone thought about doing stuff out of the box, you know, using carers for different purposes, as in, you know, coming with you instead of going to the gym, going to the park for an hour, getting a bit of exercise, that sort of stuff. Just wondering if anyone has thought about that, you know, especially if they use carers and they had to cancel care or other services.
Yeah, I sort of, myself, I didn't really want to back off my carers too much because I realised they need to work as well through these times, and I want to keep them employed because I don't want them to go away. So all that community time I had, I've spent more in my garden. I've set up a good winter garden. I usually don't plant through because I love my garden and gardening veggie patch. So I've got all raised garden beds. I usually don't grow a winter garden. It's more of a summer seasonal thing. But this year I've grown the seedlings from start and just got into a winter garden type thing and starting to produce veggies and spend more time doing a bit more cooking at home. And so take that load off my partner and just doing a few more things around the house, just filling in time. So for me, I'm still keeping the carers around, but just doing more around the house. Yeah.
So we've utilised carers in different roles as well. Like Peter, we thought it was very important that we kept them going. because we want them around when this is over as well. And so Ava Carer is a chef, which has worked out wonderfully because we do a lot of cooking together now. I've never eaten quite as well as I do right now. So.
Anyone else? Anyone else sort of change their routine or change people coming in and out of their homes, or doing stuff differently, sort of being creative in what they're doing now?
Yeah, I used to, oh, sorry. Do you wanna...
No, go ahead, Maya.
I used to go into a lot to, like, my weeks used to be very busy with rehab, going to the gym and going to uni, but now it's all been cancelled, so everything's just been at home. So it's been a lot of changing, like exercising at home with family members and also like studying at home at the same time. So everything's just been at home rather than getting at home with family members helping me rather than going out and getting services or doing things elsewhere.
My cleaning company that I use, they closed up shop. So I've used that time and employed someone who lost their job to do little handyman type stuff around the house, and also a bit of, I was trying to create some hot houses around my raised garden bed so I could grow different things in the winter.
Yeah, just jump in if anyone has problems with cleaners. I actually got cleaners about the same time that the COVID came. The best option, I just looked at gyms cleaning, and that is completely okay to go through the NDIS. You can actually get a service agreement through them, I think, if you need, and that's fine. 3 hours a week, cleaner's good, and they have their own equipment, which is the best of all.
Well, that's great. So 3 hours a week. So you've got that allowance in your NDIS plan?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I spoke to my plan manager, and I'm lucky I've got a good plan manager. But yeah, basically agreed I need 3 hours a week, sort of thing, because I got a 2-bedroom house, and I do lots of cooking, sort of thing. So definitely need to be cleaning around that sort of area. So yeah.
I also have heard a lot about some care agencies have been backing off care hours with some clients, and that's mainly around leisure and community access, just because they might have a diminishing workforce at the moment, or for whatever reasons they are, so they just go with the essential care. But you know, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday that has got through a limited amount of care, and I said to them, maybe it's best you speak up to your agency and just say that you just need a bit more to support you throughout the day here and there, rather than cut it back as much as they have, which has been successful with. Later in the afternoon, they understood that situation a bit better, his agency. So yeah, it's just about that conversation with the agency, if that's going on with yourself. Yeah.
Oh, good. Another big area I want to sort of expand on is mental health. You know, I mean, a lot of people are stuck in their homes or can't go into the office. You know, it's great that some people can work from home or do their physio from home in a different way. But what about for those who can't? I think it's really important to, if you haven't got a daily routine, to set up a daily routine. You know, I mean, make sure that you get up at a specific time. You know, maybe have an exercise program or some type of physical activity, or learning something new. So it's a good opportunity for a lot of people. They've got a lot of downtime. So I've seen on the internet, you know, you can learn new skills, IT skills, for example, or learning a language, or visit museums around the world. There's live streams of the zoos in Victoria. Does anyone agree about the value and importance of that, of having a daily routine where you do, you know, get up at a certain time, you do something about lunchtime, same thing in the afternoon, you've got your day structured?
I definitely agree in making sure that your mental health is just as healthy as your physical health at the moment. And I think like going outside for like 5 minutes to get some fresh air, very important, even if it's just around the block, just something different from the four walls of your home. And I definitely think that people will need to kind of give yourself a bit of slack at the moment. So like if you're not feeling as positive as you would be, or you're feeling, your mood's changing a bit, I think it's just important to remember that this is a crisis and this isn't something that we're all not used to. So I think it's normal to feel a bit apprehensive and unsure at the moment, but keeping yourself busy is very helpful.
I might just jump in there. I suppose, I've been working from home for a couple of years now, and I think structure is very important. Now, certainly for me, I always get up at 6 a.m. and it makes it a lot easier for my carers too, because they got lives, and so it sort of fits in quite well with me. But I always make sure that for me, getting out and getting a bit of exercise is very important. If I don't, I start scratching at the walls. So I try and get out each day to go for a push. It's getting a bit harder now that the cold weather winter's coming on, but still try and get out there, and also get out and do a hand cycle once a week. It's something that I enjoy, and it enables me to not just get physical exercise, but just a bit of seeing something different. And having said that, you do have to sort of choose some of the less popular bike paths, because especially on a nice sunny day, you get quite a few people who are very every man his dog's out, so trying to keep the social distancing gets pretty challenging. But I certainly get out and do some exercise, and even if you can't get out, as Lockie and a few others mentioned, doing some weights or having an exercise program at home, it's certainly it makes you feel better in yourself, and also it's just good for your body.
I just want to jump in with that basically, I think someone mentioned before, I think it was Pete or Yunaz, that just the good thing is that, like, I know it's hard not to look at the media and try and keep an eye on what's going on with COVID. Sometimes some of it can be negative. So I guess folks trying not to focus on that sort of thing. If it becomes negative, maybe switching off and focusing on maybe talking to friends, or like if you're able to get out or something else more on a positive mindset, I think that can really help, sort of thing. So if anyone out there, that helps anyone.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Lockie, about staying connected with people. It's really important for our well-being, and what everyone else was saying about exercise. In a time like this where there's a virus out there that's dangerous, we really need to look after our health. Every aspect of our health. That means eating well, keeping up our exercise, and trying to keep a positive mindset as well. The government and various agencies are really recognising the strain that this is putting on everyone. There is some social isolation happening, and people are working from home. Even relationships with families are changing, and people are having to navigate that. So there's certainly plenty of help out there, if people do feel like they need to talk to a professional about it. The DHHS have got some links on their website. Certainly plenty of psychologists and counsellors are doing online stuff, and Medicare's really supporting that. And if family members are struggling, Carers Victoria is a great resource that provides support too.
Now, that was a great point, Lockie and Rowan. I mean, a lot of people, you can't escape news about COVID-19. It's all over the place. And a lot of people, because, people have got downtime, so they've got a lot more time. And what do? You turn on the radio or the news, or you Google COVID-19, and, you follow the cases around the world and in Australia and Victoria, and that's all you do. I think doing that, you got to have a bit more control and try to avoid some of that sort of stuff. And like you said, if you're looking for information, you go on the DHHS website, the government websites, and that's where you get your information, you know, because the more you look, you know, there's people throwing up, you know, I don't know, I'm going to say fake news and all that sort of stuff, and trying to get people following them, or all that sort of stuff, because as we know, the media catches on to anything that's a talking point at the moment, and it just goes on, and yeah, you can't escape it. And I think in these times you need to escape it, and, you know, stay strong and don't follow it throughout the day. You know, if you want to know where things are at, watch SBS News at 6:30 or one of the other channels at 6 o'clock, and stick to that.
Can I just ask real quick? I don't want to go way off topic and go on too long, but does anyone want to mention hobbies they've picked up in this time? Like, I mean, I've always loved cooking, but now I'm thoroughly enjoying cooking and doing new recipes. Does anyone want to quickly just say, I picked up this hobby?
Yeah, I've been playing more piano, and I'm getting piano lessons every week or fortnightly, and planting, and I feel like soon I'm going to have an indoor plant nursery at the rate that I'm going. But yeah, those are things that, I don't know, it's making me happy, and kind of forgetting that the fact that I haven't been out of the house in like a month or so, really out of the house in like a month.
I always been scared of the stock market. It hasn't been an area that I've really been interested in, but I've seen it as a time, because I do like getting behind the computer. One of my friends follows it, and he's been sending me tutorials and information, and I'm learning about that and seeing if I would dabble in it. Yeah, so that's something for me that I've been doing, which is a bit boring.
Even though I guess, even though it's a very changing time, and I think you know, it's worthwhile taking up the opportunity to actually, as like and as mentioned, about taking up different challenges for yourself. You know, setting yourself in different goals, but also trying new things that you might not have had the opportunity or time to do. You know, previously I started doing back on doing a online course that I stopped 2 years ago because I was too busy. So, I think, you know, I think a positive to take out of this is try things that you didn't have time to do previously, and it could be reading a book, or you know, yeah, learning an instrument, or do a bit more gardening, or doing the things that are rewarding, are fulfilling in your own lives. Because I certainly noticed around the local area that a lot more people are spending time with their well, I suppose, at home and doing more homely things. So I think we've just got to try and adjust and you know, think outside the box a bit more about what we can do until things settle down.
Actually, there's some really good links out there to online courses. We were speaking about it here at work, not last week, and some of the peer volunteers were speaking about it. And my wife last night was looking at some of the courses. I was quite surprised the range of courses that were available for free to join in on at the moment. Unmute yourself, Josh.
Josh, it's muted.
Can't hear you, Josh.
You're muted. Just real quick, guys that are the attendees that are listening, maybe note down in the chat or in the question section, what are you doing at home? What hobbies are you getting into? Like, what's keeping you entertained? And
for anyone that's interested, there's I know that I've recently started it. There's wheelchair Zumba that's on Thursdays. It's for an hour and it's via Zoom. So if you want to do some exercise, there's wheelchair Zumba, and it's actually really fun.
And nice, Maya. And I might also add, thank you for the heads up, guys, that Sal and the leisure team have also created a bit of a PDF that can be found on the Austin website with different links and different museum tours, as Nars alluded to earlier. We might try and share that through the chat and also on our Facebook later on.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you know, like I said before, if you're looking for news or things to do, just Google everything. You know, there's places like the Austin website, the leisure team have put some resources together on online learning and getting other experiences. So if you don't know or you're stuck, or just get in touch with us and we'll pass it on to you. Just want to say we've got about 10 minutes to go. Just any of the guys out there, you're welcome to ask us any questions. Just there should be a button there, Q&A or chat. So if you've got any questions or want us to cover an area that we haven't covered so far, just type it out there and we can answer those questions. Sorry, I'll pause because I was just reading one of the messages. What else? Lachlan, I heard you speaking Spanish. Was it Spanish before? Did you start learning Spanish after COVID-19 or was that?
No, I've actually, I went to South America last year for about 4 months and I learned a bit of Spanish there. And I've always tried to keep it up. And then now, now I've had more time to practice and I've been connecting with my friends in Uruguay and I've had a chance to practice even more Spanish and it's brought me closer to people around the world, which has been incredible.
So I was going to ask you, how long is it something do you think you or anyone out there can start? I know a lot of people probably want to learn another language, but they think it's going to take me 6 months to 12 months to learn it. Is there a basics 101 Spanish course that you could learn where, you can get to a level in 2 months' time?
Yeah, look, there's various options. I mean, the best thing is if you just want to hop into a language and try it, is Duolingo, the app on your phone. I'm sure a lot of people know that. That's a really good way to just get started and test the waters sort of thing. But you can look online. There's lots of online options, remotely, people around the world sort of thing from those countries who speak also, they also speak English sort of thing, which really helps. Best thing is just jump on Google and have a bit of a look, and maybe even you might start practicing now, and then you might end up thinking of a trip overseas that you want to do eventually. So
once there's a vaccine,
so you can go on virtual tours.
Of course.
Naz, I might just break in here. Somebody saw that Colin had his hand up. It's not up at the moment, but Colin, I'm just going to allow you to talk in case it's a question you have for us. So I should be unmuting you any minute now. No, my button's not letting me unmute. You might be able to unmute yourself, Colin, if you do have a question.
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Right. Yeah, it's my first time using Zoom, so it's a learning experience. I've been just sitting back here. I came in late, but yeah, it's just, for me, most of my activities are outside and they've been curtailed, like sailing and all that. That's gone. So I've had to basically take over being an indoor person and spending, not that I had to spend a lot of time outdoors, but to me it hasn't been a major shift as far as my lifestyle. But I'm just spending more time probably watching the news because I'm interested in that as a microbiologist, and also playing around, doing more research on my share portfolio from a super fund. But that's just me being a capitalist. But yeah, it's to me it hasn't been a big change. I'm kind of used to it. Biggest change I have is trying to get support workers because they're few and far out here in the country. So that's it for me.
Thanks for sharing.
Hey, maybe we could, some of the panelists could bring home a bit of a take-home message. What do you think, Naz?
Yeah, definitely. Just before that, in the question and answer, someone's given some suggestions on there. I thought I'll just pass that on. Paradance are doing free online sessions like dancing and Zumba and all that sort of stuff. So it's Thursday nights at 6 p.m. If anyone's interested in that, just let us know. We'll pass that on. And also for mental health during COVID-19, there's a resource website. I don't know what this stands for, but www.emhprac.org.au. We'll probably put this all together and email to everyone watching out there. That's probably the best way to do it. But yeah, just going around, Peter, just wondering.
Just before you do, Naz, we've got a
sorry,
question
what was that?
from. Just before you do, there's a hand up from Tim Marchington. You should be able to unmute yourself, Tim, to say something now.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with a bunch of current inpatients here at the Talbot, and John had a great question. He's wondering that when he gets discharged, sorry, he's a bit far from the mic. So
yeah, hi guys.
Try call it out, John.
Yeah, I was just wondering that when we get discharged, what's the best way for us to sort of to contact the right sort of people, for all the support resources. Is it Josh? Do we contact you and Naz? What's the best way to go? Because obviously it must be very daunting when we come home. We leave the bubble of all the support in the hospital to sort of come home, and then we're out there by, it may seem by ourselves out in the world, and we need all of these resources and support, and we don't know which way to turn sometimes. What's the best way to sort of approach that when we get home?
Do you want me to run with that, Naz?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so John, especially from us here at AQA, the support doesn't just stop while you're at the rehab. We're here along for the whole journey, so you can contact us at any time. And also part of the service that the Austin provide, you would have seen Raywin in there, one of the boxes. She's part of SCIS, and they provide, real expertise for the first 12 months post your discharge. And from there on, from, I guess, the whole Austin AQA, we'd like to think the amount of support we provide from there, gives you the best opportunity going forward. But in ending, mate, especially from us here at AQA, we're always here for our contact and can always get in touch.
Yeah, so John, most likely, or not most likely, everything will be set up for you, John, in the sense of SCIS, or depending on who your funding body is, they will step into line. And as you get closer to being discharged, most of these services will be put in place. So it's not like you're just going to be thrown out there, John, and definitely there'll be a lot of services in the background working to support you through it. Yeah,
and you'll have someone, sorry, Peter, you'll have someone from my team contact you while you're still in spinal rehab and introduce themselves, and they'll be your key contact. But we're a big team with lots of different health professionals of different expertise. So we're a good resource for you to work out, the kinks in your looking after yourself with your spinal cord injury in the community.
And fun fact for those playing at home, Raywin was my support worker through the SCIS team. So I guess I turned out okay. Yeah. Sorry, no, I was a bit cheeky there.
Just, Lynn, did you put your hand up before? I can't hear.
Yep. I was going to unmute myself and then say exactly what Raywin said. But even following SCIS, if you've gone through the Austin, then you can access advice from the Austin forever.
Forever.
Just wanted to say, just to John's question before as well. I mean, a lot of people, it's pretty scary when you have a spinal cord injury, or even after you've had a spinal cord injury for 5 to 10 years. Just want everyone to know that there's resources out there. You don't have to do it alone. And, the Austin have got some great programs, and AQA Aspire as well. I mean, all you got to do is, pick the phone up or send an email, and that's it. It's quite easy. Don't do it tough when you don't need to. And Lynn just had another comment. I'll just let Lynn.
Thanks, Naz. I recognise there'll be some people who went through Caulfield Hospital who'll be viewing today. and Caulfield have a different system. Like everyone else, the services at Spire are still available to you, but if you have a medical issue that you want looked at, you need to get yourself referred back to Caulfield through your GP.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Lynn. Just thought, we'll stay on here as long as we're able to. But if people want to start going, that's all right. So, just a takeaway message. Starting with Dave. Dave, did you want to just give a final message? Doesn't mean we're going to, close the computers down now, but just in case people start.
All right, just before you do, Dave, it looks like there's another question from Tim. Tim's got about 6 people with him. Tim, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yourself?
Yep. Did you have another question?
Yeah, John has one more.
Yeah, look, I'm a fairly social person. How do we keep in touch with other spinal patients out in the community? Are there, lots of notifications that are sent out for events and things of that nature? I'd like to contribute, to the community, but also like to sort of stay in touch with our, our fellow, spinal community patients and things of that nature. How do we do that?
There's quite a lot on social media in terms of groups for people that have a spinal cord injury, and I know that there's a Spinal Cord Injuries Victoria group on Facebook, and there's also for I think there's one for males too, but I know for females there's a group that's been made by women that have a spinal cord injury called Girls Who Glide, and it's got individuals with a spinal cord injury that are all around the world, and that's a nice group because there's like Zoom calls in that too. So there's a lot around in terms of support groups or groups where you could ask questions and things like that.
No, fantastic, Maya. I think we've lost Naz there, but Peter, I might also reflect on John's question. We have support groups out in the regional areas also.
Yeah, we've got a number of different networks, John, not just regional, but through Metro Melbourne. And us here at Spire, we are about supporting people and drawing on networks with experience to share and stay engaged with you, John. So that's automatically going to happen. You're part of it now, and with this session now. So it'll continue on and roll on. And we'll match you up with people that suit you more. Josh will be in contact with you, and Naz and myself, but more so Josh, that's his area. And we'll match people up with you depending on your questions or the type of information you want. And that's all through lived experience, John.
Mm. And so Naz is still a bit MIA, so we might go back to his original question, that some parting messages. So let's start with you, Dave.
No worries. Thanks, Josh. Well, considering these times are constantly changing, nothing's really, there's a bit of uncertainty around. I think what's really important is not to let it overwhelm you, and focus on one day at a time. And take precautions, don't let it rule your life. So it's a matter of whether you can work out how to adapt and do things that you used to do differently. And if you can't do those things you used to do before, then take the opportunity to do things that you've wanted to do and haven't had a chance to do previously. So try and bring some more positive aspects out of it instead of I think dwelling on the negative side of things of the media. It seems to be quite overwhelming when we start watching that. So, but yeah, take one day at a time.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dave. Maya, do you want to give your 2 cents?
Yeah, similar to what Dave was saying, I think just taking time and just keeping busy and connecting with others is really important at the moment, and making sure that you're supported in things that you may need. And I think connecting with family and friends, whether it be people that live with you or via social media, I think that's a very good way to feel supported during this time.
Lockie?
Yeah, again, similar to what these last two were just saying. basically keep focused on things you love, interests, you know, like I picked up cooking, things like that, or keep as active as you possibly can. And yeah, definitely stay connected. There's a new house party app that's been good that, you know, you can connect with family and everything like that. Yeah, just trying to remember to reach out to your support network and keep focused on things you love doing.
Fantastic. And Raylan, do you want to reach out to those coming up to discharge and those guys within the 12 months of discharge?
Yeah, just to let them know that there's help out there. If in doubt, reach out to people at the Austin on the spine unit or to Spire and AQA, because they'll be able to point you in the right direction for the help you need. Yeah, just look after yourself, stay healthy, and you know, make sure you've got some meaningful activity in your day.
Fantastic. And Benoit?
Yes, let me, Raywin just took the words out of my mouth about meaningful activities. So I'd say just keep challenging yourself with meaningful stuff which is meaningful for you, and stay connected. I think we're all making a special effort to stay connected these days, and hopefully that's something which we'll continue to do when this is all over.
Well said. And Lynn?
Raymond too took the words out of my mouth.
That's all right. I can jump in if you like.
I like that we're speaking the same language, though.
Yes, because I was going to say we're all here to help you, and if you need anything, you know, get in contact through Spire, through Austin, through Alfred, but have some fun. Take the time, have some fun.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. And I might add to that, Lynn, if I may, to those guys at the Royal Talbot, during this COVID area, we've been sort of limited with our exposure to come and see you guys. So don't be afraid to reach out. Lynn, who's still allowed to go on there, Sal and the leisure guys are, you know, doing their best to help keep us all connected. But don't be afraid to reach out to us guys here at Spire. Peter, you got some passing words there before I give it back to Sal?
Yeah, don't forget, we're going to do this once every 2 weeks from here on, because this is we're covering people just mainly going through rehab, or people out there that want to come up and have a chat. That's why we're doing this. But for me, the take-home message as well is for those guys that are at home, keep up with everything. At the start, I wasn't doing my normal stuff like ordering equipment, or I needed a new row home, or just all those little things that I thought, you know, not my doctor's appointments, all that type of stuff. There's different ways of doing things these days. It's all online or whatever it is, but keep it going. Follow up all those things you need to do. It's all a bit different now, but it's okay. Just keep up and, you know, tick those to-do list things.
Lovely. Sal?
Thanks, Josh. Thank you to the panel for your time today.
Yes.
Thanks.
And to Raylan?
Round of applause.
Yes.
Thanks to everybody who's attended. I can see a few of you have already had to leave. You will get a follow-up email in about 24 hours. That will have a link to a survey that we've put up on SurveyMonkey, just asking for your ideas on any topics that you'd like to hear in future sessions. So please take a moment. It'll only take about 5 minutes to fill in the survey. You'll also have my email. If you have any questions or comments about the webinar, how it ran, we'd really like your feedback to be able to improve. Pete's already said we'll be coming back to you in about 2 weeks, so we'll have another topic. We'll send out invites, and hopefully we get to do it all again. Also, some of the great tips that people have left through the chat and the Q&A. I've made a copy of those. We'll send that out as a follow-up email also. So if you missed any of the links, don't worry. We'll send that through. Hopefully I've captured most of them. Thanks again for joining in. Thank you again to the panel. Have a great day, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Ciao.
Bye.
Buona notte.